So today's the 20th of October. We're hunting a redneck blind for the buck we call Elmer. And we haven't been in here yet. Today is 60 degrees, but it's a little breezy. We have the right wind, and it's a good day on the moon guide. It's like a 96% chance day, plus Eva wanted to come with, so we're out here, we're gonna give it a shot. The only problem I see is these beans are so stinking tall. I'm not sure I can get an arrow through them. So that's kind of why we set it on the edge of the beans, so if they're out in the field, we can get them that way. Eva's should be in for some good movement tonight. Okay, here's another one. I think that's him. That's him. Okay, Eva, this is going to be very important. Okay, right, you got him on film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Did he rubbing?
You have him?
Yes. If I knew what he's doing, I would.
You don't have to hold it, just keep it right on him. Just, be really careful. Shoot, he's going back in. Goes back out. Go, baby. Oh, shoot, he's gonna walk that edge. Do it. Watch it. Do you have him?
Yes.
Oh no.
Did he make a noise?
No. Move the thing over. Oh, there he is. He's out there. Shoot. No, don't worry about that. It's too far now. Dang it. He's too far.
That's too far.
Yeah, it's too far. Dang it. They're right there. Boy, he's gonna run them does. Maybe I'll run him over here. We gotta hope, Eva. It's that he chases does back this way.
Okay.
That was a wild night. I had Eva here helping running the camera. It was a good thing. There you go. She's right here, see? Anyways, we saw the deer we were after. It's the first time I've ever seen him on the hoof. And let me tell you, that shakes you up, man. That's what you do it for. It was intense. I was full draw. But these beans are so tall that I didn't dare shoot. It was covering his vitals. I had one good opening, and he got through it. That's the struggle with these blinds, trying to get the windows open. But the setup worked. I totally could have shot. I really could have. I don't think I'm gonna regret it though. There was too many beans in his vitals to. I didn't dare chance it. The closest I had him was 36. It was happening for sure. That was awesome. So we'll be back with you. It's just the start of a crazy story with this buck. I hope we can get him. We got a lot of prime good time coming. We're at our southern tier property in an area that we This buck we call the King. He's a 10-point, wide 10-point. We know he's been through here. We actually had his picture right by this scrape tree. Back at the house, and I didn't shoot that buck tonight, but that's the third time I've seen him. But he's a nice buck. He's a nice wide 10-point. Not super long tines, but he's nice. And the way this year's gone for me, I probably should have shot him, but maybe I will. That's encounter number 3. It definitely came out with the most light tonight. It was pretty neat. There he is. There he is. I see him. I see him. He's right on the edge of that timber there. There he is. He's out. He's on the field. He's on the field. Right here. I had all my encounters with this deer right here in this field, and he's escaped death 5 times now. That's the end of the New York season officially. It's the first season in a while I didn't kill a buck, but can't say I didn't have opportunities and encounters. Not like Elmer tall, but it was nice. Probably another 3-year-old. Another 3-year-old. I was able to hunt the biggest deer I've ever hunted around here this year. Just unfortunately wasn't able to connect on him. Man, our wind is... That's insane, bud. That's insane. We're just blessed to be able to be outside and as much as we are and experience it all and, you know, film most of it too, which is great. Be able to share it with everybody. I mean, he's headed up there to the edge. You could try to turn him. Let me try it. Ready? Didn't even hear it. 27th mood, not November 3rd or 4th mood. They look bigger this time. That was insane.
Hopefully everybody has a good off season. It's 2022 now, so time for bigger and better things. So unfortunately 2021 was a year with a lot of casualties on our hit list bucks and up and coming bucks. It was just it was the worst year ever. But that being said, this time of year is always filled with optimism. You know, the bad feelings from previous years, losing some bucks, kind of wears off, and it's the fresh beginning. And you know, we're fortunate enough to have probably 5 or 6 really, really good mature bucks for this particular area. And when I say that, I'm talking 4.5 to, in this year's case, probably a 6.5, 7.5-year-old buck. So that's the age range we're after. We've got a real good, let's call it a connection with what made it and what didn't, based on cameras and just visual footage. So in terms of inventory for 2022, it's really based off 21 that we know made it. So here we are in late June. I'm not really worried about, you know, finding them at this point. I know the ones that are alive. I am game planning and setting up for that fall range, fall habits. So we put a lot of time and effort into it. We're pretty optimistic that all these moves we make and improvements are going to pay off leading into 2022. So we're very optimistic, and you know, we don't want to rush it to get here because we got a lot of time and projects in between that we really got to get done before October 1st. And the strategy for me is, we have a checkerboard approach. We have a lot of farmland, but we've got these little pieces of woods here and there. And every year I just go through every single one of them and see how I can possibly make it better. So whether it's a food plot, whether it's some TSI work, hinge cuts, just tweaking stands. We've done a lot of just simply moving stands 10, 15, 20 yards just to give it a fresh look, improving access in and out. So just every little farm we have is gone through, maximized to the best that we can make it, or the best that time allows. So we're standing in this plot that is set up to kill probably the highest scoring buck that we're gonna have this coming year. We know he made it through. We found his sheds. He's just a beautiful 5x5, real long tines. The setup here is a strip of timber and brush, and it's surrounded by big ag. And this year it's gonna be standing corn. So inside this, I just came in with a backhoe, pushed some of this off last fall, planted a cover crop of wheat with clover mixed in, and now clover's coming. I spray killed the wheat. Just need to mow this probably once or twice, and this is a good setup. We hope this buck, as he travels through this finger, will obviously want to come eat, check a scrape, and it'll be within range of our setup. You'll hear us talk about access all the time, in and out, but what we do is we come through an old gravel pit, and it's a low spot, and we basically climb a little hill and we're right into the stand. And yeah, and we're just about 20-30 yards from where we're standing right now. I put a mock scrape in here on these apple trees, and like I say, just feed on the clover. But this is going to be a big buck. I'm saying probably easy into the 150s this year. Okay, we're at what I call my home farm, which is obviously how I make a living, but we've got different farms spread out. This particular one right here is a new plot we started last year of, well, right now it's pure trophy clover. We had brassica, big and beastie in here with clover mixed in, and this is what happens the following year. Frost seeded it this spring, and voila, looks great. This particular plot was put in for buck, the oldest buck that we're gonna be hunting this year. We call the G3 buck. And if I could summarize him in a couple words, it would be miserable and really old. He's gonna be at least 6.5. He's always been an 8-point, and just a old, really smart buck that we haven't been able to catch up with yet. But we put this in for a little diversity. We have another plot on this property as well. We're talking about probably 30 acres of woods total in this area, and that leads out into a big agriculture field. So this particular one looking really good. This G3 buck, in my opinion, is probably one we're gonna have to kill during the rut, possibly late season. Haven't had much interaction with him early, so this is gonna be a rut buck, but so far so good in terms of the food plot. Looks great. So we're here in our southern tier property, checking out this logging operation. This particular spot was just screaming at me for years, and this logging project is a little bit premature in terms of a traditional logging operation and what they'd be looking for. However, we have such a good potential bedding area. There's a ravine that runs down through here, and this particular end back here slopes and faces south. But this was the most wide open part of the entire property. So in order to make that better, we need to come in here a little bit early and do some heavy logging. We got a lot of maple here, some beech, and we found a logger, which can be some of the most probably challenging part of it all, is finding somebody that's willing to come in and do this stuff. We're taking them down to 16 inches, but we're going to turn this end, which is basically useless for deer, into a south-facing prime bedding area that's going to just add another probably 10 acres onto this already good bedding area. We also happen to be after that buck we call the king, which I hunted all last season and tried to get with a bow. He made it, found his sheds, and he's probably not in here right now with his logging operation going on, but I have no reason to believe that he won't be back in here, and I hope when he comes back in, he likes it even more. So we're standing on the south end of where this buck we call the king lived last year, and we've done a lot of strategic things over the years, but there's a road here. It's a public road, but it's just a dirt road, and on the other side of it, it's pretty much brown as down. So we've come in here a few years ago, lined it with pine trees. We've got 3 or 4 rows, and then behind me has been another interesting project. This is switchgrass. That dark green is growing switchgrass, and it's year number 3 for that now. So this stuff, pretty much everything you see here will probably be over my head this year, and it's much thicker than it was last year. And then just to top it off, we've got a little section here. We put frigid forage plot screen just as an additional barrier to the road. So whether it's people in that hunting camp or just people traveling the road, they can't see over here. And then way over my shoulder where the land drops off, we've got a food plot there and a blind that we have good access to on this bottom side. So there's a chance we'll be hunting that king buck in here too. So we're standing in a plot that I recently tilled up that I plan to put big and beastie in this fall. And a little strategic move we made with the chainsaws was blocking off this particular section right here. This food plot drops down the hill and then obviously long this way. And the idea with this is that the deer would come out down here or behind the camera, they would come out and they could see the whole length of this, or they would cut through this opening. So by blocking this off, we have a redneck blind to my left. They have to come out of here, and if they want to see there, they have to loop up around. So the other day, we just cut down some trees, blocked this off, created a nice little 40-yard wide funnel here that was going to put them in much easier bow range of that blind.
What's this for?
That's going to be a sword neck carrying that thing. But so we've got a proprietary blend, we'll call it. This is a little bit of a special mix, but a lot of it's a monster magnet, which is a mix of lots of things. So the intent with this isn't really to feed the deer long term. They're definitely going to eat it, but in this instance right here, we have an area that I want to come in and plant switchgrass, which is long term. And this dirt's been farmed for a long time, not the most fertile stuff. So I want to put this in, and I'm going to give this thing most of the summer and into the fall to grow. And then probably what we're going to do is either till it under or just spray kill it and plant switchgrass in late fall or possibly next spring. I'm not sure, but the design of this thing is to just build the soil. You know, it's going to provide organic matter, it's going to provide some nitrogen, and then just work it back into the soil. Did a bunch of work today. I'm gonna go back on the tractor and do a little bit more, but it's fun because it's like, you know, in your mind you're like you're replaying the past, but you're also trying to create the future and how it's gonna lay out and what he's gonna look like and how we're gonna try to kill him. So
Doing all this here for him.
yeah, it's fun stuff. Can't get enough of it.